Hey guys, this is Tad, your homestead provider. I'm out here planting the majority portion of our garden today. And as I was tilling, I was thinking about the soil and the nutrients that's in the soil, because we did a soil sample in March the 17th, 2023, and it was deficient in a lot of stuff. I'll put the video up in this, or I'll put the picture of the soil sample up in this video to give you a chance to look at it. But we was deficient in a lot of particularly micronutrients in the soil in our garden spot here. So I use Redmond soil samples, and the main reason I use Redmond soil samples because I really like how they break it all down. They also give you a guide as to how much to use, what product to use for your area. They'll give you certain, there's a calculation you can put in there, and it tells you for the area that you're trying to amend. It gives you an idea of how much you need of whatever minerals, and it also has suggestions. And it's not just suggestions that Redmond offer. It's also suggestions of products from other people, other suppliers. So I think that's a pretty good deal on Redmond there. But anyway, in 2023 we did this soil sample, and we was lacking quite a bit in the micronutrient category. And we over the next year or two, I did it in 23, I did it in 24, and beginning of 25, we repeated the soil sample. But let me tell you what I did first. After the fall of 23, we moved the chickens over here, and I used the Premier One electric netting for the chickens, so we move them around quite a bit. But through the late fall and winter of 2023, I had the chickens working this whole area. They was in here and fertilizing it and picking the bugs, whatever bugs there was out. And in doing that, they fertilize pretty good. And the minerals that we give them got put back in the soil through their droppings. And you know, that's a pretty good soil booster. So we got them off the garden last year. Before we started planting it last year, the garden did not do that good for whatever reason. It was not just a terrible year for me as far as the garden goes, terrible year for everybody around here. The weather was not right, and it just ended up not, it was probably the worst garden I ever had, to be honest with you. But and that was last year, 2024. Now, after the garden was terrible, I cleaned it up and I put the hogs on it through late fall and winter of last year. There again, they was, eating on it. They was putting their droppings down. I even put bales of straw out there for them to work into the ground to give more carbon to our garden spot. And fast forward to this spring. This spring I did another Redmond soil sample. It was April the 5th whenever I did that. And the amount of micronutrients that increased in this garden is crazy. I'm gonna put it up here so you can look at it as I'm talking. But particularly the potassium and phosphorus and iron, sodium, magnesium, zinc, all that stuff built up so much compared to the first one. It's just unreal. And they was fertilizing the garden. Now, our nitrogen come up some, but it's still not in the optimal range. And you can see that on that soil sample. So what we did, I took some feather meal that I got, that Redmond actually suggested me get, and applied it to the garden and tilled it in. So we're going to see how the garden does this year. But if you've never got a soil sample in your garden spot, I do encourage it. because you don't necessarily know what you're missing. And whenever you get fertilized from just say the local seed store, whenever you get fertilized from it, it doesn't exactly have everything you need in it. We tend to use more organic fertilized, find amendments and things like that. But if you just get the normal round-of-the-mill fertilized from the co-op or Tractor Supply or wherever, it doesn't exactly have everything you need in it, unless you get something that's got micronutrients in it and it feeds the soil. We're not just feeding plants, we're trying to feed the soil and build up the soil in the process of growing a garden here. So I thought that was worthy of making a video showing you how much increase was in putting the chickens in it and then coming back and letting the hogs run through it through the winters. It was very surprising. Now there again, just like the chickens, as far as the mineral growth, the minerals we feed the hogs, we use Redmond mineral salt, and the minerals that we put into the hogs goes through the hogs and then they deposit it on the ground. So in theory it should have went up, and it did. But if you've never run ruminants or any kind of animal on your garden spot, and you're just tilling it and growing stuff, tilling it, growing stuff, tilling it, and growing stuff, you probably are lacking minerals. And in my opinion, the best way to do it, or one of the best ways to do it, is getting a Redmond soil sample. I'll post a link in the comments of this video where you can get one of them. It was super easy to do. Like I said, I highly encourage it, but I'm looking forward to see how the garden does this year with the amendments that's been put in by our animals. Now, that being said, from 2023 to this year, we didn't add anything to it other than the chickens and the hogs. That was all we put into the soil from the last time I did that soil sample until this year. We did add a little bit of feather meal for the nitrogen to help boost some of the nitrogen, and hopefully we'll see how that goes. I'll probably do another soil sample next year, but I'm anxious to see how the garden is going to turn out with these relatively impressive soil sample results. So, but anyway, I thought I'd share that with y'all. I do encourage y'all to do this if you like planting a garden. They even have it on Redmond. I'm pretty sure it showed like raised beds where you can, check soil for raised beds. You can, there's various options for you to do on there whenever you're doing your soil sample. But that's all I got right now. I wanted to share that with you because I think it's going to be definitely beneficial to our garden this year, and also to encourage you to use animals on your garden spot whenever it's possible. You might not have animals, but chances are somebody around you does. You can get some chicken manure, go help somebody clean out their chicken coop, and put it on your garden spot. That is a good option. We have a horse riding arena down the road here. They clean out stalls all the time. They want you to come take the manure off their hands and put it somewhere so they don't have to. But there's just options like that for you to use. You don't necessarily have to have animals. We did run animals on here, so this is the result we got from that. So this video is just to kind of spur a little bit of thought. And as you're thinking, I think you should do a Redmond mineral soil test. So anyway, that's all I got right now. I wanted to share that with you. This is Tad, your homestead provider. God bless.